You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The round of 12 in the championship is over, and we have 4 more races to go here this season. And the first race in the round of 8 starts right here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me tonight, my broadcast partner, Dave Regal. Dave, welcome in. First race with the series. You picked a great race, a meaningful place for both of us here at Homestead. But round of 8, getting set to go. We'll show you the point standing situation here in just a moment. But this is a great race, a great place for a playoff race.
Without a doubt. I mean, here's the thing, folks. You're coming in, you're in South Florida. It's a beautiful time of year, and it's the most exciting time in any NASCAR schedule. And these Xfinity cars, I was right next to them this past October. And to see these guys on the track and doing what they do is impressive at a place like this.
It certainly is, and we're going to see them do what they do for 143 laps here tonight. Again, we'll take a look here at the playoff picture. First of all, let's flip on over to our handy little graphic here to show you who we have, who is in, who is out as far as the round of 8 is concerned. Mike Rominger, Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, Jacob Jensen, Austin Karp, Ed Morris, Michael Thwaites, and Paul Irvin all made the cut from the round of 8. Alex Reeling, Logan Koger, Gary Wells, and Ed Morris Sr. all out of this round, which will consist of, as you see on screen, Homestead-Miami Speedway, and Dave, another racetrack that's very meaningful to us, Watkins Glen, will be the round of 8 finale. Now we'll go to the actual points as they sit. Rominger with a 2-point advantage over Nicholas Caldwell. Rob Haynes is down by 3. Jensen by 4. Karp and Morris are tied down by 5. Thwaites and Irvin down by 6 here. So that is your top 8, and they are starting off very, very close.
I had a chance to cover this league last winter with someone that we know and love. And I'll tell you what, I watched Mike Rominger just tear this league to bits. I mean, he is going to be hanging in there. It's almost like a bad itch. You can't get him to go away. You know, he is a tough driver. And I'll tell you what, getting deeper here into the season, I'd keep my eye on him for sure.
Absolutely. Last week's winner at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a racetrack that had a lot of green flag runs and worked the strategy and the pit stops to perfection, did Mike Rominger to take that win. Another thing that we haven't taken too much of a look at over the last couple of weeks is the team point standings. Now, Primetime Motorsports has this going away at the moment, but right now that battle for second is very, very close between Elite Esports, Nicholas Caldwell Racing, and Rush Hour. Just 33 points in it between the three teams. So a very, very close race in this teams championship as it sits.
Yeah, looking forward to a lot of these teams battling it out as we get deeper into the season. I mean, you know, after everything that we saw last week in week number 12, I mean, 13, we've heard the number 13 enough over the last, 48 hours since championship night in the NFL. And here we are again waiting to see this competition.
Absolutely. Getting set to jump into the qualifying session now. Standard 10-minute qualifying session for this series, 2 laps. And right now, a familiar face here to this series, making his season debut. That would be the number 75 of Scott Ramler getting out on track. We have seen Ramler in this series multiple times. We've also seen him back in the Sim Racer's Edge series, the Dallara IR18 series that used to be broadcasted on the channel. So Scott Ramler making his season debut here tonight. A couple of other drivers getting out onto circuit. There is playoff driver Jacob Jensen in car number 64, starting his first lap. Jacob Brower, who was the pole sitter last week at Las Vegas, there he is in the number 3. He is on circuit. Gary Wells, Mike Campeggio also on track as we get set to roll here for the first race in this round of 8. Jacob Jensen right up against that wall. And Dave, you'll see that all night, drivers migrating towards the top of the racetrack. But in qualifying, I would expect for the second lap at least, see the drivers as low as they can get.
There's a lot of speed in that top groove. Now, it's probably going to take about 40 laps for that top groove to come in, to get a lot of grip up there. But once you do, you can see, even as I'm taking a look here at Jacob Jensen, right before he goes into turn 3, you're going to see almost a Darlington stripe on the wall here. There it is, that big scratch there against the wall. That's from all of those tires just barely kissing that wall.
Absolutely. And a big slide coming off of turn 4. That's going to lose. Oh, boy. Wow. Kept it out of the wall. Certainly lost the lap. But a very good time, a very good effort from Jacob Jensen as Jacob Brower will get back up to the top. He will go P1 in this qualifying session thus far. And Dave, as you mentioned, here's car number 4. Here's Mike Rominger, your points leader.
Yeah, Rominger just getting cranked up here in the middle of his second lap. You can see here he is just, if you get just below that seam there, it almost gets too loose. Here he is taking all of that momentum up against the wall, down the back chute, and he's going to basically do that exact same thing in 3 and 4. This track very equal as far as the turns are concerned. You know, it's not like a place at Texas where you need to be high on 1 and 2 and low in 3 and 4, or vice versa. This track very, equal at either end. And as Mike Rominger crosses the start-finish line, he is going to go P2, and with a 32.9, about 0.05 of a second above Scotty Ramler.
Just about, and just behind Jacob Brower, who ran almost identical times between the 2 in the 3 and the 4. Here is Ed Morris, so far the third fastest of the playoff drivers. You'll be able to see the playoff drivers and where they are all race long. Drivers highlighted in red on the timing and scoring tower are your playoff drivers. There will be 8 of them here this week, as Morris will go to the pole at 32.88. So a good time for him. Set the fastest first half of the lap, as we'll see Daniel Krim work his way off of turn number 4, completing his second lap. Krim will go from 9th to 9th, a little bit slower on that second lap, as we see another playoff contender, Austin Karp, in car number 19, running in 5th at the moment.
Yeah, Austin Karp here, maybe it's just my trading paints, maybe it's his, but he's showing up here with that Bass Pro Shops club paint scheme. Is that close to accurate? Wow, a little bobble coming out of 4. That may be Calamity Corner. We see that a lot here at Miami.
Yep, that we do. And this series, I kind of told you a little bit of it, but I didn't tell you all the way. I didn't explain it all the way. I did mention that this series does not use trading paints. Extreme Scoring, who is the putting this race on, has its own paint updater. So you unfortunately won't be able to see the paint schemes as they run at least fully accurate. But again, if you want to take a look at what these guys are using, definitely go and take a look and try to get your hands on that Extreme Scoring paint updater, as Michael Thwaites goes into second. Third driver to lay down a 32.89 here, and 2 of them are playoff drivers. Go figure.
Well, that's the reason that they are playoff drivers. They're going to be that kind of competitive.
Boy, but it was a playoff driver sitting on the pole, but not anymore, as Ted Pullen does a 32.85 to get up to the front row, as Logan Koger wiggles his way out of turn 4, just missed out on the round of 8. He first lap did not count. Second lap sets him at P14. Now we'll take a look at one of the faster drivers since he has debuted about a month ago, Alan Fox. He was the fastest in practice. He has been dominating these races here lately. Alan Fox right now 12th position on lap 1.
Well, here I am trying to find this updater. Talk about digging through. It's almost like the blind leading the blind.
And speaking of pace, Alan Fox, a 32.80, goes to the pole. So Alan Fox picking up right where he left off. Here's Rob Haynes. Haynes, one of the round of 8 drivers. Paul Irvin, Alan Dobbs also on track. Joshua Vidal, Alex Reeling on circuit as well, as Haynes goes 10th quickest.
I'll tell you what, I've seen Rob Haynes a couple of times in the servers. This is a driver who, that first lap, not really that impressive. He goes top 10, but we're going to see him increase by at least 2 positions.
A lot of the drivers that you're seeing, he's not going to gain anything now after he hit the
him
wall off of 4.
Yeah, the old broadcaster's curse. Whoops.
As you do. A lot of the drivers that you'll see lay those 32 threes, 32 twos on the first lap, as Alan Dobbs does a 32.97 to put him 8th quickest. A lot of those drivers are taking the outside line on the first lap, so those won't be representative times of the pace as we see Alex Reeling dirt tracking it around turn 4. See what he gets done here. It will be 8th quickest for Alex Reeling as we take a look at car number 6. That is the Denso Toyota of Joshua Vidal.
Alex Reeling having a little bit of a celebration here, taking a look at Vidal. Oh my. I don't think Vidal's I don't think he's really going for a big qualifying effort here. He may just be trying to be patient. I mean, 143 laps the scheduled distance tonight. 79 degrees in the stands. That track temperature, though, 90 right now during qualifying. A lot of grip in this racetrack right now. And at a place like Homestead, this no shade whatsoever. It is nothing but a blister festival. So eventually, if that sun stays where it is, we're going to see those temperatures come up a little bit more.
Joshua Vidal goes 13th quickest. Nate Orlovsky on his first lap goes 15th quickest. A couple drivers that have not yet attempted to set a time. Ed Morris Sr., Joseph Darnell, Carter Casey, Josh Wren, and Kerry Cleaver have not attempted to set times. Paul Irvin caught the wall on both of his qualifying laps, so he will be starting towards the back with the drivers that did not set times. As Nate Orlovsky will gain one position, he will go up to 14th. And with a minute left, it looks like it is going to be another pole for car number 73 of Alan Fox, who has been doing that more often than not here since he has joined the series, as we should be expecting a pretty good field of 27 cars here tonight for this 143-lap race. I don't believe I have mentioned what lap the stage break will be on, so we'll do it right now. Stage break will be on lap 48 here this evening, so that will leave a pretty decent-sized run here, Dave, for the first stint, and then a nice long run for that final stint.
Well, and I've said it before, in this league, that 48 laps, that's entirely achievable by these drivers. A lot of times, especially early on in a race, you start to see that caution bug floating around. But in Ricmotech, generally we don't see that. It actually is a refreshing breath of air, compared to some of the caution festivals that we've seen.
Yep, absolutely. As we are now out of qualifying, and now we're getting into the race. Let's take a look at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Alan Fox sitting on pole with a time of 32.806. He has Ted Pullen lined up to his outside. Ed Morris and Michael Thwaites, both playoff drivers, will make up row number 2 with Jacob Brower and Mike Rominger sitting in row number 3. Row 4 will go to Scott Ramler and Alex Reeling, with Alan Dobbs and Austin Karp making up the top 10 in row 5. Rob Haynes and Gary Wells will make up row 6, with Joshua Vidal and Nate Orlovsky in row 7. Nicholas Caldwell and Jacob Jensen sit in row 8. Logan Koger and Mike Campeggio in row number 9. Michael Caffrey and Daniel Krim in row 10. Eric Driggins and Carter Casey will make up row 11, with Paul Irvin and Kerry Cleaver in row 12. Row 13 will see Joseph Darnell and Ed Morris Sr., with Josh Wren rounding out the field of 27 drivers here tonight. Casey, Irvin, Cleaver, Darnell, Morris, and Wren all lining up via their I rating after not putting down a qualifying lap. Weather conditions here for today's race. We are just past 3 p.m. in sim time. 79-degree ambient temperature, 86-degree track temperature. As we see, a little bit of cloud cover has come over the speedway. Gusts of 10 miles an hour, as we just saw there, blowing towards the southeast. And Dave, that is a lot of wind blowing around what is normally a pretty slippery racetrack for these cars.
And you're going to see, with that wind direction coming from where it is, you're going to see times change and speeds change just based on wind alone. I saw it at Dover a couple of 2 years ago. I saw it here in Miami just a few months ago. That wind direction going to play into this race a lot. And, that backstretch, it's going to be coming right into their faces.
Yeah, absolutely is. Inside line coming out of the access road there, which these drivers will have to use, coming out of pit road. Outside line jumping up onto the track. It's one of those unique little quirky track re-entries here here on the NASCAR circuit. But Dave, as we come through 3 and 4, it's going to be a very good one, and drivers are going to be looking to put their best foot forward here to kick off the round of 8.
Absolutely, as the iRacing.com pace car leads us through turns 3 and 4. Getting ready to make that hard left turn. It's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab the sunscreen because it's hot in Miami. Race fans, it's showtime!
Tear in the eye, Dave. Thanks a lot for that. As we see Mike Rominger, he might have a tear in the eye here in just a moment. He's 3 wide, almost 4 wide here, stuck in the middle of this pack now, falling down to 9th.
Alan Fox with a good jump over Ed Morris right now, holding his own, but take a look here. First caution of the night. Who's bringing it out?
It's like the 21 of Eric Dragons towards the back. There he is.
And there it is, that turn 4 Calamity Corner. The rear end steps out, and he just kept going.
Let's take a look and see what happened here with car number 21. Oh, he was loose getting in. I don't think he was ever under full control of that. And Ed Morris Sr. just finishes the job.
Definitely not the way you want to start your evening here in Homestead. Not going to be happy with that, as he's going to have to bring that around for pit service and at least get that rear clip put back together. But as we get ready to rack him, stack him, and do it all over again, Alan Fox going to have control of the field once we see. Looks like we're going to have another parade lap. Going to be Fox, Morris, Brower pulling and Thwaites your top 5. I'll tell you what, it's sometimes it's disconcerting, but already a lot of drivers coming down pit road, maybe trying to make some adjustments for this track temperature change.
I'm assuming these are all going to be fuel-only stops as Gary Wells leads the group down. Nate Orlovsky, Joshua Vidal, Mike Campeggio, Carter Casey, a lot of the drivers at the back of the field. Paul Irvin, there he is in that Ally Nationwide number 48. Saw something very similar at Las Vegas last week where we had a caution early and then went straight through to the stage break, and then the second stage, went caution free. So it's kind of been on par for what we have seen. I would not expect, especially with the way these guys ran Vegas last week, I would not expect more than probably 3-4 cautions for incident here tonight. That being said, there'll probably be 20.
Yeah, that's
now that I
that's
said
like,
something.
Well, talk about a no-hitter during a no-hitter.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yes, you do.
It happens. It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there.
It's going to happen either way, so may as well say it. As Alan Fox is going to elect the outside line here, something I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of here. Oh, no, lights are still on the pace car.
Well, isn't that different? Yeah. Of course, that's probably coming. That's probably coming from, of course, our admin tower. Want to tip our helmets to David Killow and Michael Self up there in race control. That has to be the most thankless job in all of sim racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael Self, one of our guys at SRM, has been providing the race control duties all season long for this series. And David Killow, after the playoffs had started, got up out of that number 38 car and went up into the race control booth to give Michael Self a little bit of a hand for the playoffs. So it's nice to have an outsider and a driver both in, just to kind of give that unbiased plus that driver understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely that time. Yeesh. Maybe we'll see the pace car lights turn off this time around. I'll tell you what. I had an opportunity back in October, which maybe you should have been there. Just saying, but I had an opportunity to stand down here on the front stretch, and that paint that's there against the pit wall, that is the slipperiest thing I've ever been on top of that wasn't ice.
And just think, it used to be grass. As
Yeah.
a couple of other drivers, Scott Rambler, Paul Irvin, Joseph Darnell, all coming down pit road to just top off as we get set to roll away one more time. And unlike what I had thought on the previous lap, Alan Fox does elect the inside line this time.
He heard
Seeing
you
that a lot tonight.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, so getting set to go. It'll be Alan Fox and Ed Morris in the lead row. Ed Morris, by the way, coming home fourth in a charity race that I was fortunate enough to broadcast for Apex Racing TV on Saturday night. Thank you, by the way.
Look at you.
Thank you, by the way, to those Apex Racing TV guys for allowing me to come and play for a night. 100-lap charity race at Michigan. As the green flag flies, Alan Fox off and running, and Logan Coger has already made it 3 wide, car number 25.
They are all but 4 wide going into 1 and 2 as Coger just shoved it down here as soon as the flag flew. Right now coming up through the middle is Mike Rominger. Mike going to be able to hold his own here, but you know just as well as I do, the last thing you want to hear on race radio is 3 wide, you're the meat. As Rominger rolling out here, holding his own. Lap 6, we're going to stay green, no problem so far. This is the kind of skill that I was talking about with these drivers. They're able to go 3 wide for almost a complete lap, and nobody flinched.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's holding his own in the middle. I think he's more falling through the middle. Rominger already down 6 spots from where he started as we ride on board with him. But again, we know Rominger very, very good at saving those tires as Michael Thwaites up towards the front, running in P5 right now, sliding in behind Ted Pullen as Logan Coger walks that car up the turn 4 surface. Nearing that wall, he'll get a very good run pushed along by Alex Reeling.
Taking a look at Michael Thwaites, he has just been hitting the exact same marks. I've been watching him for about 2 laps now. He has not come off this line whatsoever. He's going to have to make Coger work to get around him. And, you know, a driver that can hit his marks consistently like that makes that car go from 1 width to 3 widths. And it's incredibly hard to try to pass him.
Certainly is. And winner at Indianapolis earlier on this season, so Thwaites does know how to get it done. Here's Rob Haynes in a nice little battle here. This is just inside the top 10 between Austin Karp, Rob Haynes, and Jacob Jensen. Now Mike Rominger getting into the mix a little bit for playoff drivers. And another one poking his nose in, leading that second group. That's the 34 of Nicholas Caldwell. But Austin Karp now starting to move his way forward. And big wiggle out of Alan Dobbs. Somehow keeps it off the 19. Great job by car 37.
That takes skill beyond skill right there. Just out of the corner of my screen, I could see it while I was watching Nicholas Caldwell. And I mean, Caldwell at that point, I was about to say, was kind of in the most comfortable spot on the racetrack. He had some space in front of him, some space behind him. With 10 laps in of 143, it's kind of time to just ride now that you've gotten those tires up to temperature. But all of a sudden, he's here in the mix after that bobble by Dobbs.
Absolutely, is seeing Dobbs slide on back. By the way, that charity race this past Saturday night, you can go back and watch it on Apex Racing TV. It was for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. A very good cause this past Saturday night, and it was a lot of fun as well. So definitely go and take a look at that as we see Jacob Brower trying to hold off Ed Morris. Now, we saw Jacob Brower last week at Vegas, again, sat on the pole, did that 3 car. However, he did not stay up towards the front, then eventually got caught up in a couple of incidents, knocking him out of contention. So Brower looking to have a little bit of a change of fortune here this week in that number 3.
Taking a look at Alan Dobbs once again, working just ahead of Gary Wells, trying to make some hay here over top of Rob Haynes. I mean, look, Dobbs is starting to here on the recovery. You know, still down 3 from where he had qualified in 9th. Our biggest mover of the night, however, Logan Koger, who is all the way up into 6th position now in the 25 in that Raptor Chevrolet Camaro. I'll tell you what, watching him work up here, it's almost been quiet. He is kind of being surgical about it. You know, sometimes you're watching a driver and you're like, wow, he's really plowing through, but you know, you can tell a driver who's patient and precise with every decision that he makes on the racetrack, because you look up at your timing and scoring and go, oh, where did he come from?
Absolutely young 18-year-old out of Saraland, Alabama, gets loose coming out of turn 4, able to save it and not lose too much time. However, I'm sure he'll be with Austin Karp in very close company, looking to the inside now going into turn 1. And we saw how aggressive a move that Koger made going into, coming out of the restart, I should say. But ever since then, he's kind of hung on to that outside lane. But that little slip up there allows Austin Karp to go on through. So we'll take a look a little bit further back. This is back towards the 20s here. Here's Mike Campeggio down on the bottom, battling with Nate Orlovsky. Daniel Krim, who was a big player at Las Vegas last week. Kind of just riding and chilling here this week, car number 47 at the back.
Yeah, and you know, a moment ago I was just keeping an eye on Kerry Cleaver, but all of a sudden he has fallen off of the pace from Ed Morris Sr. So the back of this pack right now, kind of quiet, nice and easy. You know, does it for many of these drivers just trying to get through. We're about a third of the way toward our stage break here, which of course, as you had mentioned in the open, would be lap 48. But you know, Nicholas Caldwell here starting to do battle, sliding just past Alex Reiling in the 1 car.
Reeling winner at Sonoma earlier on this season, and a very dominating performance at the road course up in wine country. We were looking just a second ago at Carter Casey as he continues to move his way up through the field. Casey up to 13th from his 22nd place starting spot, I believe. Carter Casey, the highest placed of the non-qualifiers, 2-time winner this season. Won the last race at Talladega before the playoffs, and then won the first race in the playoffs, did Carter Casey. So a couple of wins to his season, even though he did not fulfill the minimum race requirements to make the postseason, quote unquote. As two drivers who did qualify, by the way, to make the postseason, leading up this second group. That's Caldwell on the outside, Jensen on the bottom.
Caldwell being the highest running Ford right now in 9th position. This league very Chevy heavy. Just 3 Toyotas. Everyone else is basically a bow tie after just a few blue ovals. I mean, Caldwell trying to show the way to see if he can get any Mustang help up here.
7 Fords, 3 Toyotas. The rest of them are Chevrolets. As we see this battle
17
here.
bow ties.
Yes,
I don't think
Benson as Alan Dobbs goes around on the outside, so the 37 gets into the top 10. Carter Casey trying to push Jacob Jensen back into the 12th spot, and for a moment will. By the way, watching all this battling here in the middle of the pack, not missing anything up front. Alan Dobbs has opened up a 1.9 second lead over Jacob Brower and the rest of the guys. There is Brower in second, Michael Thwaites third, Ed Morris in fourth, Ted Pullen in fifth. As they run right now, Pullen, driver we usually see in car number 15, starting towards the midfield. He has been firmly in the top 5 here tonight after starting in second place. He has run very solidly in a top 5 position all race long thus far. Gary
Wells right now kind of hanging out behind Nicholas Caldwell and Carter Casey. Wells almost just waiting for somebody to make a mistake, and he's kind of lurking back here. Going to keep an eye on him as he qualified 12th. He's running in 12th, and he seems pretty comfortable where he's at. But, all it's going to take is for Casey to flick that wrist one wrong way, and all of a sudden we're going to see Wells be able to capitalize on that almost instantly. A lot of these drivers are showing some extreme patience, and as you had mentioned, basically our front seven is all running single file. Go out there, work on those drivers. Maybe you're not going to beat them this run, but next run for sure, you may make an adjustment and get up there and close that gap, as Alan Fox almost out to 2 seconds over top of Jacob Brower.
Riding on board here with Gary Wells, watching this battle in front as Carter Casey almost drifts up into the 34 of Nicholas Caldwell. There's Caldwell up along the wall, Casey down on the bottom. Gary Wells, another one of those drivers that missed out of the round of 12, missed getting into the round of 8. So Wells, I'm sure, be looking for a good finish after his championship hopes were dashed. Another thing about Gary Wells, I don't know about you, Dave, but especially whenever I'm running road courses, if I'm in an Audi, let's just say, if I know I can't win, I want to at least be the highest finishing Audi, because that'll feel like a win to me. Gary Wells right now is the highest running Toyota, so I'm sure he's feeling that Toyota pride right now.
To piggyback off of your thought, if I'm ever willingly running a road course, it's probably not willing and there's a gun being held to my head. Those were, back during my driving days, those were always the weeks where I was like, gee, I've got overtime to go work, or I'll be on vacation that week.
Oh no, I can't this week. My goldfish caught my house on fire. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. there was always my internet died, my cat ate my homework.
Right now, Michael Thwaites is trying to eat second place away from Jacob Brower. He has closed this gap down. What was about 0.6 of a second is now just that. It's about half a car length. And Brower coming under some serious pressure here for P2 after he's lost about 0.3 of a second on the leader Fox in the last couple laps.
Yeah, it's...
Sorry, that was Alan Dobbs coming into pit road. A big slide. Not sure if he made it in time there to avoid a speeding penalty. Listen, I'm gonna take a look here on my timing and scoring and just take a look, because that may not have been good. He came very close to hitting the wall. Fortunately, did not. Nope, he's in and out. Fuel only for car number 37.
Look at him. Proud of you.
I'm sure it wasn't by much, as we see Michael Thwaites and Jacob Brower going at it for a second. Thwaites down on the bottom this time, and he will clear Brower. However, it will be Brower that has the run of momentum, just the same way Ted Pullen has in the background, looking to the inside of Austin Karp, trying to get back up into that top 5.
Jacob Jensen down pit road. He's going to take 4 tires and a tank of fuel, as he's the second driver now to come down in this cycle. As he is now off and running. He definitely didn't have the same issue that Alan Dobbs did coming down pit road, but pit road has an interesting entrance here at Miami. It doesn't give you too much warning. It's not like at Darlington, where maybe you're waiting forever and 4 lanes wide to try to get in, but it does kind of sneak up on you. It
certainly does, and we had another very tricky pit entry to begin the playoffs. That was back at Dover to begin the round of 12, and a couple of drivers fell victim to that pit road. If I remember correctly, I believe it was Ed Morris and Paul Irvin both fell victim to the pit road wall at Dover.
Dover has a tough pit entry, and Phoenix has a long pit road.
Yes.
Obviously we'll be heading that direction.
Carter Casey getting, wouldn't say cut off, but certainly alerted to the fact that Gary Wells was in front of him. as Wells looks to the inside of Nicholas Caldwell. Gary Wells is not going to have the momentum, but he'll have the position at the line. So P9 at the moment for Gary Wells, as Carter Casey and Joshua Vidal battle behind. Casey will slot up into the 11th position. Wells slots into 9th. And now the field is starting to slink back out. We saw the top 5 get really compressed there a couple of laps ago, and now it's getting back out. Thwaites up to half a second. Brower's 3/4 of a second ahead of Morris.
Carter Casey, the next driver to come down pit road. He made a nice and easy entry, as Mr. Sinatra would say. And as he's going to slide in here, he'll get 4 tires and take a go fast.
He's got a nice pit box, too, right in front of that wall opening to get behind the wall. And we saw a couple of drivers, notably Jacob Brower last week, run afoul of the pit lane rule. You're only allowed to go through 6 pit boxes on pit entry and exit total, including your own. So that'll be nice, certainly, for Carter Casey to not have to worry about going through a box directly in front of him.
You know, NASCAR shows that it's very fan friendly as an organization. You know, many of the sports that we have today, of course, you know, hockey, you're separated from everything by glass. Baseball, we now have the net because people don't know how to look up from their phones. But, you know, in NASCAR, you can be so intimate with what's going on pit road. That opening where Carter Casey's pit box was, Emily Arias and I were able to stand right there during the active race with basically nobody standing around. You can be right up close. I mean, this is such a fan-friendly sport. It's a fan-friendly venue. I mean, just an incredible experience to be right there while they're changing tires.
I'm sure if you tried to do that during the Cup race as we ride on board with Ted Pullen, that would have been a different story.
They kept us near the poor people for the Cup race.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. As drifting up off of turn 4 is Ted Pullen.
I just want you to picture Wayne and Garth walking around with VIP passes at a NASCAR race. That was us. That was John and I wandering around. Just, we're not worthy.
I believe it 110%. As caution has come out here on the Speedway. That would be for the 77 of Michael Caffrey, who has gone around.
Ooh. No, Michael Caffrey just came right across. Let's see what that is, the 75.
Show the replay here in just a second of what happened to Caffrey. Now, this was more towards the middle of the backstretch. It's the 57 of Scott Ramler.
57-75, it is what it is.
Yeah. Dyslexics of the world untie.
One nation underdog. Yeah, it almost looked like Caffrey got tight and just came across the nose of Scotty Ramler.
Just rode on board with Ramler. Ramler had to make a save as well. And I'm sure some of you would have seen that, yeah, there was some net code involved there, but that was one of those net codes where it might be net code, but they were going to hit either way. As now the entirety of the field, including Michael Caffrey, just barely gets to come down pit road.
Well, that couldn't have been any closer. This pit entry brought to you by Gillette.
Yeah, about as close as shit. Oh, no, somebody didn't make it. I think it's Kerry Cleaver.
Cleaver made it in.
No, Cleaver is not. He made it into the tire barrels is what he made it into.
Oh, now I see it.
And Ted Pullen is going to win the race off of pit road. Pullen, Karp, and Wells all took fuel only. Michael Thwaites and Jacob Brower, I believe, take 2 tires. Alan Fox, Ed Morris, Joshua Vidal, Mike Rominger, the top 10. Taking 4 tires. Daniel Krim, as you had mentioned, not coming in at all.
Krim may be trying to hedge his bet here. I mean, he's got 12 laps as of now to get to the stage break at lap 48. So he maybe, maybe not. Does he or doesn't he? Here he comes. Nope. Faked us out.
Jacob Jensen and Carter Casey will both get waiver rounds, so they will get back on the lead lap after pitting during the green flag. Alan Dobbs coming back in the 37. Let's take a look here at Kerry Cleaver's attempt. Well, first, how about this? Let's take a look first at Michael Caffrey's attempt to get into pit road and see what happened with him. He gets about as close as you can to that pit wall and just does yank it inside the pit barrier. Now here is Kerry Cleaver. He's up, not quite at pace, but he's certainly speeding. Locks the fronts and into the fence, and you heard that ploof there. That is a done engine. Let's jump on board here with Kerry Cleaver so you can hear that. And there it was. So car number 96 will be out for at least a half hour, if not all the way. One driver.
Once you hear that pop.
Yeah.
I thought that it was Pringles. Once you pop, the fun don't stop, but it seems like once you pop here, the fun do stop.
At least for a half hour, it do stop. As only one driver is out of the race. That is Eric Driggins, who was the cause of the first caution back in 3 and 4 on lap 1. 3 cars on pit road right now. Josh Wren, Michael Caffrey, and Kerry Cleaver. Apparently there was an issue with Josh Wren as well, which we will show you a little bit later on because we're about to come to the restart. Here is Daniel Krim, Ted Pullen, Austin Karp, and Gary Wells will be your front 2 rows. And on the oldest tires here of the 4. So
yeah, he better be ready for the freight train here as the iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Daniel Krim with his foot just hovering above the loud pedal. The green flag flies and we're underway.
Good start from Daniel Krim. Just 10 laps to go here until the end of the stage, and already 3 wide here in the middle of the field. Michael Thwaites, Ed Rominger, both caught up in the middle of 3 wide. Oh, now 4 wide coming through turn 2.
4 wide coming down the backstretch. This is for all the marbles, it seems. It's all of a sudden like, hey, listen, we've got 8 laps here, 9 laps just before the stage. Whoa, a little bobble. Take a look at Logan Koger, who is just driving, dirt tracking his way out of turn 4 down the front stretch. Holding it together, he does. While all of this is going on, Daniel Krim is up here logging laps and hitting his marks. He's suddenly being challenged by Alan Fox, who just makes it look that easy to get around him.
Alan Fox was in 10th on this restart. He is now in the lead, and it's only been a lap. Alan Fox proving 4-tire magic. Mike Rominger getting through. Logan Koger, who we saw get very close to contact with the 3 of Brower. So 4 tires was certainly the way to go. However, because of the tire limit, they most likely will not be able to come down pit road here this time.
Well, they'll come down to get a little bit of fuel, but I'll tell you what, Alan Fox made it look like that Camaro was developed in Cape Canaveral, and it's a rocket ship here at Homestead-Miami. Lap number 41, working our way toward 48 to the stage break. Dave Regal and Frank Marchese here in the SRM broadcast booth. Glad to have everybody with us tonight as Alan Fox, your race leader here in the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Xfinity Series.
Oh boy, 4 wide again. A little bit further back, or at least it was a moment ago. Michael Thwaites, Jacob Jensen, Joshua Vidal, and I believe Carter Casey, or no, Ed Morris Sr. is down there on the bottom, car number 5. And we're 4 wide again. This time it's the
These guys-
88.
These guys are not afraid to lay it all out here. And I'll tell you what, that shows not only their own skill, but their trust in their fellow drivers around them. Because once you decide to commit to that 3 wide, you have to be trusting of whoever's on the high side and the low side, especially when you're in the middle.
2 cars on circuit right now. Pardon me, make it 3 cars on circuit right now that are not on the lead lap. Rob Haynes is one. Michael Caffrey, who was just at an incident, is another. The third, Joseph Darnell, and he's making it 4 wide right now. He'll get the free pass at the end of the stage, but boy, he's trying to work his way up. Speaking of working their way up, Alex Reeling is up into the 6th spot. Paul Irvin is up into 4th. He was down in the mid-teens all race thus far.
Yeah, Paul Irvin coming from 23rd to suddenly be up in 4th has got to feel pretty good about himself and the 48 right now, as he's got that Chevrolet cranked up to crazy here on lap 44. Alex Railing all over his rear bumper. A little bobble once again coming out of 2 and down the back chute. And I got to believe a lot of that is that wind hitting them directly in the face of the race car. And, of course, as it hits that front, it almost lifts the rear and loosens the car out.
There's Michael Caffrey there getting lapped once again. By the way, of the drivers that took the gamble to take either fuel only or 2 tires, Scott Ramler is the highest running. He's in 11th right now. Austin Karp 12th. Daniel Krim, who didn't pit at all, is in 13th. Ted Pullen 14th. Gary Wells 15th. So that gamble did not pay off. Alan Dobbs, who came down pit road to top off on fuel, he only took fuel only as well. He is in 20th. So that 2-tire gamble did not work.
No, but I'm sure we're going to see him find some kind of a strategy to battle his way back up. Taking a look at Alex Railing right now, all over the rear bumper of Nicholas Caldwell. I mean, right now, they've got to be trying to figure one another out. With the wind in their face coming down the backstretch, you have to understand that as they come out of 3 and it starts to push them around, this is where you're going to see Railing start to gain here. And there he is, getting the run on the 34 as they come out of 4 down the front stretch. He absolutely starts to tighten that gap up. You almost can't fit a 3x5 car between those two.
He's only got 2 more laps to get it done as Ed Morris looking under Paul Irvin, trying to get that position. Meanwhile, up front, it's a 3-way battle here for the stage win, which will be coming, by the way, at the end of the next lap. So Alan Fox with Mike Rominger and Logan Koger all over him fighting for the stage win.
Alan Fox and Mike Rominger, you can throw a blanket over those two at least until the end of this lap, as Fox going to lead us into turn number 2 and down the back chute one last time here in stage 1, followed by Mike Rominger and Logan Koger. The top 3 here just seem comfortable. It seems like these are 3 friends just out for a Tuesday night drive here in South Beach.
Yep, 0.7 of a second. That's all that separates these 3, but it's going to be car number 73 who is going to take the stage. Another non-playoff driver taking some big points. Alan Fox gets your stage win. And the caution, there it is, coming out. So it'll be Fox, Rominger, and Koger, your top 3 here in this stage. And here in just a moment, we are going to try to get the driver of car number 73 up here into the booth, as we now do have Alan Fox. Alan, looks like it's going to be another fast car here today. That's 73 looking very strong.
Yeah, having a good time. Just rolling the bottom, and that seems to be helping me. I was able to save the right front a little bit, so even on long run, it seems I've got a little bit of speed this time.
How in the world did you manage to get past 10 cars in one lap to get into the race lead at the end of the stage?
Was it 10? I wasn't really paying attention. I just had the bottom, and I stuck to it.
Well, it was one heck of a run. You were close to 10th either way. How is the, you know what, actually, we're going to hold that off possibly for a little bit later because I'm sure you guys are going to be coming down pit road now. Congratulations on the stage win. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I got to go get those tires.
So there goes your stage winner, Alan Fox, leading the field down onto pit road. And with that, we will step aside as well. We'll take our own pit stop. You're watching, pardon me, the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series first race in the round of 8 from the Homestead-Miami Speedway right here on Sim Racing Media.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing.
Coming out of turn 4, getting set to go here for stage 2. Alan Fox, your stage 1 winner, out in front, gets a very good start. Green flag back in the air as he holds off Scott Ramler, Alex Reeling, Logan Koger, and the rest going into turn 1. Alex
all of a
Reeling!
sudden, around we go, Alex Reeling sideways. We stay green, though. He doesn't go completely sideways as he's going to get down on the apron here and try to get back up to speed. Not sure what happened to him. We'll have to run back and take a look at it.
Yeah, I think he just got loose coming through turn 1, as already Logan Coger trying to go 3 wide up here through the middle. That's been his favorite move today. Logan Coger gets that second spot at the line. He'll get clear of Scott Ramler, not quite clear of Mike Rominger. Carter Casey is in the mix as well. By the way, we had mentioned that Josh Wren had a problem and that he is no longer participating in this race, done after 34 laps. Here is what happened to Josh Wren. This happened just after the caution came out for the Michael Caffrey incident, as he just locks and continues to turn into the road course until eventually he hits one wall and then finds another wall that just about stops him. So I'm not sure if he had his VR headset go on him or what happened there, but certainly not what he was anticipating. And now here is what happened to Alex Reeling on the restart. There is Reeling, second car on the outside lane, gets a push from Coger, gives it to Ramler. Ramler goes down low, and yeah, just all on his own, loses it, and he is hard right. Keeps it up in the wall as the rest of the field passes. And Reeling is now down pit road, so that is what happened to the number 1. Back to live pictures now, as Alan Fox and Mike Rominger lead the way. Logan Coger versus Carter Casey, about a half a second behind, and then it's the rest of the field.
Yeah, you know, Reeling kind of got bit by that cold tire bug. If you try to go up to the high side here with cold tires, they're not going to stick whatsoever, and that's kind of what bit him there. So maybe a little bit too much too soon, but you know, you live and you learn here on the racetrack. Unfortunately, sometimes you learn the hard way, in which Reeling did. But side by side right now is Josh Vidal and Michael Thwaites as the caution comes out. Not sure what's going to have brought that out. We're waiting to see.
Not seen this time, I believe. Oh, it's Nate Orlovsky who has gone around, car number 29.
Oh.
Apex, North Carolina.
Well, he missed the apex here.
Take a look and see what
Lock
happened.
that rear tire up.
Going through 3 and 4 here. Ted Pullen and Rob Haynes behind. Rob Haynes will get back on the lead lap here. Yep, just lost it. Watch out. Oh. Well, he was going to get back on the lead lap. Speaking of Rob Haynes, unfortunately, that's not going to be the way this works out.
No, definitely not. You know, when you look at situations like that, you kind of feel bad because you didn't run out of talent. You just ran out of luck, especially being in that situation.
On board with Rob Haynes, you can see the car getting loose and then shoots right back up across the racetrack. And let's take this next shot to show you how lucky and how close Ted Pullen got as we look off the back of the 15. That's how close Ted Pullen was to being wiped out. Blink of an eye.
Wholesale pit stops underway with the exception of Thwaites, Wells, Dobbs, Pullen. Not sure if Krim is going to come down. He does not. Campeggio also going to stay out. So a lot of these drivers with just about 11 and 12 laps on those tires going to stay out. But that opens the door for Fox, Rominger, Coger, Caldwell, and the rest of the usual suspects coming down together for pit service. Looks like everybody just fuel only here this stop. So trying to load the fuel cell there with Sunoco race fuel.
A lot of fuel onlys. You have to go back down to what is now 16th and Joshua Vidal to find drivers who either took tires or had some damage they needed to repair, which is why they stayed in long. There is Rob Haynes. He is trying to still get his lap back via the wave around and hope for a a quick caution, but unfortunately with everybody not pitting, that will not be the case. So Michael Thwaites right now currently finds himself as the race leader. Playoff driver, one of the few, I believe the only playoff driver at this point to have a lap led. So good on Michael Thwaites, and we're almost halfway through this race. Gary Wells, Alan Dobbs, Ted Pullen, Daniel Krim, and Mike Campeggio, as my esteemed broadcast colleague had mentioned before.
Well, and this is the time in the season, especially as you open up that round of 8, to go ahead and make as much hay as you can to put up in the barn, because you don't want to, wind up, struggling for that win there in the next transfer situation. So, get as many points between you and the next person on the bubble behind you, because you never know when your day might be doomed.
By the way, as you see on screen right now, there is your playoff standings, or at least the drivers that are in the round of 8. Mike Rominger, Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, Jacob Jensen, Austin Karp, Ed Morris, Michael Thwaites, Paul Irvin. Those are the drivers who will be looking to get into the Championship 4. Homestead-Miami Speedway and Watkins Glen will be this round. The Championship 4 will be at Pocono and Phoenix.
Pocono is an interesting choice for the round of 4. That's exciting. I'm happy about that.
Absolutely. And one driver who I'm sure at the moment is not all that excited, if you were looking past the graphic, Nate Orlovsky had another issue coming either out of pit road or down the back straightaway. Let's take a look and see what happened with Orlovsky. He is four-wheel drifting it, trying to balance it between the curb and the banking, and then everything goes wrong.
Yeah, I would say that's probably not planned.
No. It was all fun and games until he hit the wall. It's usually how anyone feels with this. It's all fun and games until I hit the wall. And then it's who done it, why they done it, why they couldn't done it to someone else.
Pretty much, and thank God for race control to be able to make those decisions in that period of time. I had mentioned it earlier that race control probably the.
Hold on, time out. There's a race control in official lobbies? That's
no, not official.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was going to say, that was news to me.
No, in the official lobbies, it's just everybody hates everybody.
Yeah, that about sums it up. Green flag getting set to come back out. Michael Thwaites into the restart zone, and he will be the first playoff driver not only to lead a lap here today, but he'll be the first playoff driver to lead a green flag lap here today as Alan Dobbs gets on through. And once again, car number 25, Logan Coker, heads through the middle, trying to make it 3 wide. Meanwhile, Austin Karp is trying to make it 4 wide down the back straightaway.
He should be sponsored by Ron Popeil and the Showtime cooking knives, as he thinks that he can just slice through this field. It's not a tomato and an aluminum can, pal.
Jacob Jensen doing the same, trying to slice through the middle. Karp trying to follow. Coger's now up to the wall. I will say this. For as aggressive as Coger has been in this race, and for how livid I would be with him trying these moves in the car, you can't fault him because he hasn't caused one single wreck. He's gone 3 wide. He's made some very aggressive moves, but he has been well within control.
Look, you and I both have seen more than enough races on the iRacing.com servers to know that, oh my,
between the 34 and 19?
It's parallel parking at 170 miles per hour. But you and I have seen enough races, both in the public and the hosted sessions here on iRacing.com, where we've seen drivers like Logan Coger make these mistakes, especially when they're trying to be aggressive. But there's a lot of discipline in this young man out of Saraland, Alabama, and right now, whoa boy, here we go, 3 wide.
Yeah, he just got loose.
Crim the meat in the sandwich.
Alan Fox is at the bottom of 3 wide. Look at this mess. You'd think it's
dear.
Talladega with how they're running 3 wide here. It's 3 wide, about 4 rows deep.
Yeah, but look, they're
Boy,
doing it
Robert
right.
Jer-
They're
oh,
doing it
around
right.
goes Fox.
There they go. Remember that time I said they were doing it right? I was wrong.
Right as it was happening, there's Alan Fox. Man who has been so dominant all day long. Fortunately, looks like Walmart's not going to have to deliver too many parts. That thing looks fine.
Well, generally, Walmart will look for substitutions if they don't have what you're looking for. So,
Yeah,
maybe he's not going to get a front bumper, but he'll get a loaf of bread.
Mike Rominger was in the middle of that. So was Austin Karp. 2 playoff drivers, and we saw what could happen in the second half of these races back at Dover. 1 caution, including not including the stage break in the first 100 laps at Dover, and then it all fell apart. Not just all fell apart, but it all fell apart for the playoff drivers as well, as there's Ted Pullen with some damage on the right front. Everybody coming in now. Ed Morris pokes back out. Daniel Krim with no front end. Car number 47 back there.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm like bad juju. It's not you. It's me.
At least it's not me.
No, it just seems like, all of a sudden they decide to wave the yellow flag as if they're trying to dry it before the next rainstorm. And,
Here's again. Boy, Jacob Jensen gets a good piece of it. Brower gets sideswiped. I mean, it just looks like, let's see it for the same angle here. It looks like both the 73 and 47 trying to, 73 coming up, 47 coming down. And as you do, meet in the middle. See here, this on board of Daniel Krim.
I don't think they're humming that song, though, at this point.
No. And it was just the slightest of moves, too. For both sides.
Well, you have to remember, at that speed, when you're at race speed, the slightest move can make the biggest difference.
It's on board Jacob Jensen, just behind. And he had nowhere to go.
Hang out with Uncle Dave in the College of Cliches right here on SRM.
Yeah. It has been a good one for you tonight.
Look, if I had crooked fingers, you'd think I was Booger McFarland.
There it is.
Being a play-by-play announcer is a lot like being a security guard. You're just there to observe and report.
Any more you want to get out of the way under this caution?
No, I'll get another one in later.
Okay. Austin Karp, both of the Ed Morrises, junior and senior, and Carter Casey elect not to come down pit road here this time. Everybody else does for at least fuel only. Michael Thwaites electing to take 4 tires. He was a playoff driver, leading the race, the first of those, by the way, if I hadn't said that 5 times already. Now there is a second. Austin Karp, now playoff driver, gets some laps led. Rob Haynes, after an earlier incident, coming out of pit road now. Jacob Jensen on the rollout as well. Daniel Krim will wait behind. Alex Reeling is back on track after repairing his right rear corner. Michael Caffrey still sitting in pit road, although he has been back out, as we've seen. Nate Orlovsky, Kerry Cleaver, Josh Wren, and Eric Driggins all out of this race. So 23 cars still technically competing. And, none of them are sitting in there waiting for damage. So it will be 23 cars out on track here in this race as we get set to go back to green flag racing, just shy of the halfway point.
Yeah, and this first half of the race has been exciting. They've kept it exciting. The 5 cautions really aren't, they weren't wrecking the entire field. We didn't see stupid mistakes. We saw general mistakes. This is not a bad race, all things considered. When you see that 5th caution lit up there in the corner of your screen, this isn't 5th caution, oh my goodness. This is 5th caution, things happen.
Well, technically it's the 4th caution because one of them was the stage break.
Oh, yeah, the stage break.
5 cautions, 4 for incident. As we get back to green flag racing, there's Austin Karp off and rolling. And by the way, for Marianne Cornell in the chat, is in our chat every single week, rooting hard for Ted Pullen. There he is, car number 15, running in 13th position. Appears to be just fine after that last incident. However, that last incident has not deterred anyone from trying to take it 3 wide on the first lap on the restart.
Nope, Alan Dobbs here in the 37 trying to split the 57 of Scotty Ramler, and all of a sudden they allowed Josh Vidal to get in front of them. It was about to be a 3-wide sandwich, and they decided to back out of it, but here goes Vidal again to the bottom, and that opens the door for Dobbs yet one more time. It almost seems like Dobbs sees that real estate and just wants to squeeze in there, but quite frankly, there's no reason for it right now at this point in the race.
Oh, not quite yet. Ed Morris down on that bottom line. Carter Casey, both of those drivers not electing to pit under this caution. Logan Koger out in front of the cars that did, leading that outside lane. Scott Rambler just behind him. Mike Rominger, Michael Thwaites in the middle. And right now, all this battling here, all this 3 wide, has allowed Austin Karp to get away from Ed Morris by a half a second, and Morris to get away from the rest of the field by half a second.
Yeah, and Scotty Ramler right now just barely ahead of Mike Rominger. These 2 drivers, I watched them do it all last season during the winter. It looks like they're back at it again. I can't tell you how many times last year I said Ramler and Rominger in the same sentence last year, and here they are trying one more time. Scotty Ramler, though, just shot himself into 4th position and about to overtake Carter Casey, as all of a sudden he's found an extra gear in that Ford Mustang. All of a sudden, instead of being Chevy heavy atop the pile, they've thrown a couple of blue ovals into the mix.
Yeah, that outside lane's really starting to come into its own, and Rambler has been using it for most of the night. Highest he has been, started in 7th, is now running in 3rd, but he has been as low as about 17th. As still, this hornet's nest of cars here in the middle is not thinning itself out, as these guys, I'm sure, are trying to find somewhere to settle in. However, it's not coming.
No, and Ted Pullen here in the midst of all of this mess right now around Nicholas Caldwell, Gary Wells, and here we are with the 37 in the middle of the 3-wide, Alan Dobbs. It's almost like he knows that his car was capable of being up front, and now he's just going to fight through. Oh! Near disaster in front of him. Oof. Talk about a Code Brown moment for somebody on a recovery drive.
3 abreast, 2 rows deep. Just in front, it's Mike Rominger and Michael Thwaites ahead of Logan Koger. That is for 5th. As, boy, they're almost 4 wide. Watch out. Nicholas Caldwell pushing Joshua Vidal through. And now trying to get to his outside, and does successfully.
He used him like a screen pass and just slid right on by on the high side. He got just enough momentum off that little bit of draft to slingshot his way past.
See that 34 is now starting to go single file, double file, a little bit calmer here in the mid-stage of this restart. Ted Pullen still stuck down on the bottom lane. Mike Campeggio, you see at the back of the screen, and into the wall goes car number 5, Ed Morris. Caution is out with the 26 of Joshua Vidal.
Unexpected for Ed Morris, who usually has a pretty clean drive here. Oh my! Wait till you see this replay.
There you see the damage on the 26 of Vidal. That should be his night over. A lot of nose damage, smoke out the back, right front suspension broken.
It's fine. A little bit of duct tape. It'll be good.
Yeah, no buff.
Your brake drums are shot and you need a new transmission.
Oof. That's a hard hit. Alan Dobbs also catching a piece of it. Mike Campeggio catching the back of the 37. Let's go on board with Vidal here. See, Vidal just gets into the corner a little bit deeper than the 5 did and ends up hitting him in the corner.
Well, and Vidal was playing with fire all night. He's been flirting with 3 wide most of the evening. And, sometimes... Here comes another one. Sometimes you get the bear and other times the bear gets you. When you're around a different driver, sure, you were 3 wide before with a number of drivers, but when you change that grouping up, you don't know what you're going to get.
Absolutely not, as there's Alan Dobbs into pit road, that left rear damage, courtesy of the number 24 of Mike Campeggio. There he is. Deciding to stay out. He will restart 11th, at least for the moment. Austin Karp out in front, working lap 81 of 143 here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's the first race of the round of 8. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Back here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, getting out of our 5th caution of the night for incidents, 6th overall, as Austin Karp will lead the field down. Scott Rambler on the high side, green flag coming back out. There it is, we're off and running, lap 84 of 143.
Rambler not getting the restart that he hoped for, almost kind of bunched up that high line. Now gets underway as he's going to be chasing down Austin Karp just behind Carter Casey. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-way battle here, or at least a 2-way battle for second. Oh, no.
Oh, boy, Logan Koger almost went around in that 25 towards the back. Michael Thwaites and Ed Morris almost had it coming together down the back straightaway, but everyone keeps everything straight. Paul Irvin was in the middle of 3 wide in the 48 not that long ago. These restarts have been wild here tonight, and for the most part, they've been clean.
That's the impressive part to me, how clean that they have been. 18 cars on the lead lap, as currently taking a look here at Ted Pullen, who's just barely ahead of Jacob Brower here on the high side. They're going to make it 3 wide if Brower gets a run, and he, of course, makes me look like a clown, but almost.
It's the job of the driver to prove us wrong.
Everybody needs a hobby.
As Pullen now coming up to the back bumper of Ed Morris. He will get around Wells, at least for the moment. Scott Rambler side by side with Michael Thwaites. Playoff drivers, by the way, if you're just joining us, welcome in, first of all. Playoff drivers here, highlighted in red on the timing and scoring pylon, so you'll see where all of those drivers are at all times. All 8 of them currently on the lead lap right now. Jacob Jensen, even after his damage from an incident earlier on, still clinging to the back of the lead lap. And this has been normal. 3 wide, 4 wide. We've seen it all here today at Homestead. As Morris is now caught in the middle of it. Wells, watch out, Wells almost pinched himself and the 3 into the outside wall, but was able to keep it off of him enough.
You know, here working lap number 88, just under 60 to go now. You have to start wondering what strategy you're thinking of. I mean, many drivers coming down last time for fuel only. Of course, right now, taking a look at Carter Casey, and Casey last coming down on 61 with about the oldest tires there. So we're going to start to see him tumble through the field, but at the same time, he's going to have the fuel to make it, at least if we catch 2 more cautions.
On board with Carter Casey right now. Allows Alan Fox and Rob Haynes both around on the bottom line. Haynes not quite clear just yet. But Haynes nonetheless pushing away down on the bottom in car number 99. Alan Fox looking to make it 3 wide. The stage winner, the man who dominated most of the first stage, caught up in an incident. Currently running in 6th, so he has recovered nicely. 99.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I would say so. Rob Haynes has also recovered nicely. Remember, he was caught up in a big incident with, I believe it was it the 77 or the 29? I think it was the 29 that Haynes got caught up with coming out of turn 4. So he has come back strong. He's up in 6th now as Fox takes over the 5th spot. And right now, Austin Karp getting caught by Jacob Brower. Now, Brower came down pit road under the last caution on lap 80. Side by side for the race lead against Austin Karp, who's got 20 lap older tires. Brower makes it look easy.
Let's take a look here at Joe Darnell, who bit the big one as he in the 88 just bit the inside wall here on the front stretch. You know, again, we see another incident here at the exit of turn 4, and it is just calamity corner him together with the 25.
Yeah, that was a really big hit there between the 88 and that inside wall on the front straightaway. Off the racing line, so we stay green. Once again, Michael Self and David Collot in race control here tonight. Clearing that incident away. As Nicholas Caldwell looks to the inside of Scott Ramler here. This is for the 6th spot, and Ramler with the momentum on the high side. Keeps the spot, at least for the moment.
For the moment is right, but out of absolutely nowhere, Scotty Ramler getting a run out of 2, and as he heads down the back chute, going to start to put some distance between himself and Nicholas Caldwell. Don't look now, though. Take a look at don't look now or do, but take a look here at Ted Pullen, as he was just in front of the 57. Now he's behind. Eventually, as a driver, that has to get frustrating.
Don't look now, look over here.
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Austin Karp up front, running in that 2nd spot. By the way, in the 2 laps that he has spent behind Jacob Brower, he's lost 1.3 seconds, now 1.4 seconds to Brower, and I would say he is quite significantly holding up Alan Fox, Michael Thwaites, and now Rob Haynes, who has gotten into the mix. Taking a look at Jacob Brower. Take a look at the lap times between Brower and Karp. Yep, half a second over the last 5 is what he's averaged. And that is the difference. 20 lap older tires will unfortunately put you in if you're Austin Karp.
Yeah, and this is the point in the race where you don't want to, give up those tires. Of course, they've been sitting there all year long, and do I put snow tires on or not? And there you are at the truck dealer, getting it done.
Sure. As Alan Fox gets into 2nd place, takes that outside line to get past the 19. Rob Haynes there as well. Michael Thwaites in 12, falling back to 5th spot. So now it's a 1.7 second difference. And I'm sure for Jacob Brower, who has seen how well Aaron Fox has done here at this racetrack, I'm sure he wants this to go green for as long as possible so he can try to maintain that race lead. One driver who did fare pretty well, as a matter of fact, from the race staying green last week, that was championship points leader Mike Rominger, who currently sits in the 11th position. Really quick, we'll take a look at the championship standings coming into today's race. There are the 8 up at the front who are running for the championship and where they came in starting this race. Mike Rominger 6 points clear from the bottom, 5 points clear of the cutoff, 2 points clear at the top after winning last week. Nicholas Caldwell currently running in the 7th position, came in 2nd. Rob Haynes currently running in 4th. Jacob Jensen having the worst day by far of the playoff drivers, currently running in 16th. He does have damage that he is tending to on that 64. As for the rest of them, Ed Morris currently runs in 10th. Michael Thwaites in 3rd.
You got to be happy about, Ed Morris out here watching his boy run the way that he is right now around this racetrack. This is one of those situations where even here, taking a look at Gary Wells, Ted Pullen, there's Pullen in the 07, or I'm sorry, Morris in the 07, just pushing around like he's a plow truck in a snowstorm. And that's not a bad thing, especially when you're still experimenting at this stage. 44 laps to go now. And it's starting to put that game plan into play.
Ed Morris, winner at Kansas earlier on this season. 2 races left to go in the 2 races left to go before the playoffs was that race. And Morris currently riding around in the 10th position. Paul Irvin, who is one of the playoff drivers that we really have neglected to talk about here for most of the night. He really hasn't been much of anywhere. He caught the wall on both of his qualifying laps, had to start from the back, started in 23rd. He's been up as high as third, but hasn't really found a car to get into and run consistently in the top 10. Currently running in 13th position. He is not the lowest running of the playoff cars. That would be Jacob Jensen, who was involved in an incident earlier on involving the 73 and the 47. So Jensen, a victim of circumstance. He is currently the lowest running of the playoff drivers. Back up at the front. Last time we saw these two, they were 1.7 seconds away from each other. Not anymore. Look at the lap time difference between these two. Fox has been reeling him in by an average of a quarter a second a lap over the last 6 or 7 laps since he's gotten around Austin Karp, and he is now right back on the rear bumper of car number 3.
No, and this is that stage in the race where you have to start wondering, do you make your move now? You've got 40 to go, or do you just kind of hang out? I mean, taking a look here at Gary Wells in the 87, he's still waiting for Morris or Caldwell to make a mistake. I mean, there are a lot of drivers out who have the patience of a monk, but Indianapolis's very own Gary Wells getting it done here on SRM.
Ted Pullen trying to fend off Mike Rominger. Rominger trying to get back up into the top 10 for the first time in quite a while. Scott Ramler trying to fend off Rob Haynes. Both of those drivers, as a matter of fact, all three, is Michael Thwaites, has also gotten past Austin Karp. By the way, Michael Thwaites, for the condition that his tires must be in right now, let's take a look at that. Last time these guys came down to pit, lap 68 for both Michael Thwaites and Scott Ramler to be running in 3rd and 4th. Not too shabby on tires that are 12 laps older than everybody else's. At least everybody else is around you.
I was going to say, this is one of those situations where, you know, you get to a stage in the race where all of a sudden you look around and you realize that you're alone. These guys are still keeping it pretty close, even though as you look here, I mean, you know, there's 0.7 of a second between Brower and Fox, and then it starts to get a little hairy as we move down the timing line. And, you know, all things considered, Homestead-Miami is a racetrack where it takes a couple of different disciplines, and not only that, but focus. You know, so often we see people come in and they give kind of a half-pie answer, and that's not what you want. You want 75 candles on a cake pan.
Riding on board with Alan Fox as he looks to the inside for the race lead.
Michael Thwaites coming down pit road.
As expected, so we know the pit stops are about 10 to 12 laps away. Still, battle for the race lead continues. Alan Fox, Jacob Brower, Fox on the bottom, Brower on the outside. Top 3 non-playoff contenders, followed by 5 drivers who are running for the championship. 2 vastly different. Go ahead.
You got to start to wonder if these playoff drivers are going to, talk to one another or start to try to get themselves bunched up together. It's frustrating as a playoff driver, to be in a sea of non-playoff drivers who don't have that same goal in mind for the evening.
2 vastly different lines, but at the time, Alan Fox and Jacob Brower end up at the line at the same time. Incredible, as now both of them swap places as Brower looks to the bottom. Fox looking to try to take that momentum off of the outside. And for the moment, is able to keep it. Austin Karp down pit road. Ed Morris comes down pit road. Nicholas Caldwell, Mike Rominger, all coming down pit road. A trio of playoff drivers all deciding to pit. By the way, Ted Pullen and Austin Karp also have been down pit road. There's Karp on his way out. Alan Fox, Jacob Brower. 0.3 of a second separate those two, but then it's 5 seconds back to Scott Ramler. Carter Casey comes down pit road, car number 28. He comes in from a top 5 spot. There's Rob Haynes running in 4th. He's the highest running of the playoff drivers. Gary Wells sitting in 5th, failed to make the transfer from the round of 12 to the round of 8. Paul Irvin, who was the second lowest running of the playoff drivers in the race, now finds himself as the second highest running playoff driver in the race at the moment, as the pit cycle is well and truly in the midst.
Fort Walton Beach, Florida's very own Carter Casey rolling down pit road on his way back out after getting those 4 tires. The money stop being made, as I had thought I had mentioned, but of course the trigger here on push to talk didn't want to work anymore.
Well, you know.
Why not? Because, reasons. But Alan Fox, still our race leader. I'm starting to wonder if he's going to just hang out and maybe count on the caution. But, at this stage, if you wind up coming down under caution, you've got a lot of traffic to fight through. And you don't want to be that guy on the fresh tires trying to cut through.
Alan Dobbs coming in. Scott Ramler surrendering the 3rd position to come down pit road. We'll see what Fox and Brower decide to do. There is Michael Thwaites. Now, he will be the race leader when the pit cycle works its way through. Currently running in 9th. Here comes Alan Fox, so he responds to Ramler. Brower's going to stay out an extra lap. Rob Haynes is also going to come in. Gary Wells in.
We might see 2 laps out of Brower. He's going to see how much space he can put between himself and Fox. Those 2 drivers basically matching one another step for step. Paul Irvin now sliding into the 2nd position, although it being 14 seconds back.
Mike Campeggio coming down pit road as well. Michael Thwaites getting past Jacob Jensen. That was for position on track. Jensen is not yet pit. Alan Fox on his way out. You saw that yellow flash there. That was Michael Thwaites. So the gap now is going to be between Thwaites and Fox. Thwaites came in on lap 106. Fox 6 laps later on 112. And it looks like at the moment it's going to be about 5 seconds between the 12 and the 73. It's going to be very important for Fox to stay ahead of Morris if he wants to take the win.
And here comes Brower, a little wild coming down to slow himself up into pit road, but Jacob Brower now coming down pit road. Last drivers not to come down this time through, Paul Irvin and Jacob Jensen.
And what did you say a moment ago when Alan Fox came down?
Remember that time? That was a good time. 2 laps.
Yep, you said Brower was going to stay out an extra 2 laps. That's exactly what he did. 2 laps later, Brower comes in.
Look, every now and then the blind squirrel finds a nut.
Absolutely does. Paul Irvin, as you mentioned, the only other driver that has not come down pit road. Jacob Jensen has. Jensen has not yet come down pit road.
Irvin's got a 14-second lead over Thwaites. I think we're going to see him do similar and maybe stay out another lap. This should be his money stop lap, though.
Battle for effective 2nd here is Ed Morris doing battle with Alan Fox. Morris has 3rd position at the moment. Fox is trying to take it. Both of them teammates with the primetime group. Austin Karp just behind. He was the one that got all of this kicked off. As now Paul Irvin, man, you're good. Paul Irvin comes down pit road, waits an extra lap.
Look, what can I say? Now, I don't want to overshoot myself. So, great for me, great night, and maybe I should tip my cap and hit the door.
Now the question is, do you have the in-sim chatter on so you can hear them if they're calling pits?
I do not.
Well, that makes it even more impressive then.
Here's the thing. I usually do listen to the in-sim chat, but I was calling a race a couple of weeks ago that forced me to shut it off, and I've never turned it back on. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I cannot have the InSim chatter on while I'm calling a race. Not just because of the fact that I'm normally the one producing, but even if I'm not, I can't, because I hate people talking in my ear when I'm trying to broadcast.
Yeah, it takes a special skill, or maybe just a little bit of ADD.
Yeah,
Like a touch.
Just a healthy amount of ADD.
Right. Look, a fuzzy bunny.
There you go. Michael Thwaites out in front as we close in on 20 laps to go here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Will he or one of his other playoff drivers lock themselves into the championship 4? We'll find out as we take you to the finish after this break.
Ricmotech, high performance.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
First race in the round of 8 for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series season number 18. And with 20 laps to go, Michael Thwaites finds himself in the race lead. However, it is dwindling. What was about a 5-second lead has been coming down chunk by chunk by chunk, about 4/10 a lap. Michael Thwaites has been losing to Alan Fox, who is now 1.8 seconds adrift in second. Ed Morris third, Jacob Brower, Mike Rominger rounding out the top 5 in what has been a very good race here from Homestead-Miami Speedway here tonight.
And just outside the top 5, keeping an eye on Ted Pullen, who is down 5 spots. He was on the outside pole and it has been in recovery mode for most of this evening. But it looks like he can't stay up here in the top 5. Not sure what has caused that. I'm sure that he's made a lot of in-race adjustments, but he's about to be passed once again by Austin Karp. It just, something weird is going on with Ted Pullen.
Well, he's at a tire disadvantage at the moment. He's working tires from lap 106. So he was one of the first drivers to come in. And if we jump on board here, you see that right front fender? Yeah, that's scraped up, and that little cowling in the hood doesn't quite line up anymore. So he does have some right front damage on that car, which I'm sure is affecting him. As Ed Morris now has Jacob Brower for company as they come up to pass and put a lap down Logan Koger. And remember, we spoke so highly. Good.
No, go ahead.
We spoke so highly of Logan Koger earlier on tonight. And after getting involved with, I believe it was the 88 of Joseph Darnell earlier on in this run, it has been a downward spiral for the number 25 here tonight.
No, and Blunteville, Tennessee's Joe Darnell still down on pit road after that incident. And, you know, other than that, I mean, Logan Koger was running almost a perfect race, but it's like he cooked his equipment a little bit too soon, as we've got 16 to go now here in the Ricmotech Xfinity Series, live at Homestead-Miami. Frank Marchese and Dave Regal here in the SRM broadcast booth. As, you know, Michael Thwaites has just become the Pied Piper of South Florida.
Absolutely has. Unfortunately, he may be out in front of the marching band. However, the rest of the band is catching him. Alan Fox is now within a half a second of Michael Thwaites, and Fox, who finished third in a long-run tire conservation race last week at Las Vegas, has made the adjustments that he has needed to make and is now hunting down the race lead with just more than a dozen to go.
You know, you say tire conservation, you know, at Las Vegas, which is absolutely what that turns into all the time. But even when you talk to real-life race car drivers, you know, I've had the pleasure of being able to get to know Ricky Carmichael over the last couple of years in the SNN Xfinity Series. And he talks about how important that grip is and how important those tires are, even in real life. It's not just for those of us that are amateur sim drivers. It's legit.
Heard Ricky Carmichael quite a bit over the last couple of weeks as the Supercross season has begun.
I was just here to drop the name.
A1 saw history made in Supercross. San Francisco and San Diego were both rained on. Back to the dry for A2 this past Saturday. Their first Triple Crown event of the season was Anaheim 2.
That looked exciting.
Oh, it was fantastic. Great racing in Anaheim. And I believe, as we see Ted Pullen and Austin Karp do battle.
You know, here's the interesting thing about this battle between Pullen and Karp. They've left an entire, you know, vehicle width between them, and they're basically just sitting there saying, I'll try the high side, you try the low side. This is the kind of racing that is exciting. You know, the driver can look out his right window and say, you know, hey, maybe I'm making it. The other driver can look out the left and say, yeah, but I'm comfortable where I'm at. You know, this is good racing. They're basically, you know, trying to do this the safe way.
Certainly. And speaking of the speaking of Supercross, I believe this Saturday is going to be the first race for the 250 East Series as the Supercross Circus heads to Detroit.
To be completely honest, until I met Ricky Carmichael, I hadn't really paid that much attention until somebody said, they tried to explain who he was, and I went, okay, and? And then they said, no, you need to check this out.
Speaking of not
I cannot imagine.
Attention, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So say, speaking of not paying attention, we've missed the pass for the race lead as Alan Fox has gotten around Michael Thwaites with 10 laps to go, coming to 9. Fortunately, we have the power of replay. To the bottom in turn 3. holds it all the way through. Thwaites has no fight coming off of turn 4, even on that outside lane. Actually does put up a little bit of a fight. Turn
Just
1
a
on the
smidge.
bottom takes the win.
Yeah, but you know what? Thwaites has proved himself. Logan Koger. Going to have to take a look here. It shows here on timing and scoring something wrong.
Yeah, let's see what happened with Koger. This is coming off of turn 4. Loose out
There
of
it is.
4. Well, if the 88 was feeling bad about the 25 turning him into the inside wall, I think karma will say, I got your back, because Koger ended up in pretty much the exact same spot that Joseph Darnell did earlier on.
Absolutely. A little bit of a battle here, breaking out for 9th position as Carter Casey trying to overtake Austin Karp in the 19. Casey working the low side here underneath Karp. And maybe Karp just wiggling off the line now as Casey gets around.
Karp in the 9th
And
position.
now he doesn't.
Karp in the 9th position at the moment. 7 laps to go.
This is a nice little 4-car bunch in here. Nicholas
Sir.
Caldwell, Austin Karp, Carter Casey, and Gary Wells running together and just deciding who's going to get that 9th position, that 8th position held by Caldwell. And it almost looks like the 87 and the 28 think that they can work together to take both of those spots.
Sun is also starting to come out a little bit here, especially down the back straightaway. Better late than never. As now both the 34 and 19 get through.
That sun here will absolutely rip your skin off.
That's why I tend to not go outside.
I mean, fair. The seats are better at home anyway.
Exactly. Alan Fox
But the
getting
experience.
past. Yeah, true. Alan Fox getting past Mike Campeggio. That is to put the 24 a lap down. Michael Thwaites following through. 5 laps to go. Well, 4.5 at this point, and 4.5 tenths between first and second. This race is certainly not over. It would look over with Thwaites being on Fox being on 6-lap fresher tires, and with the speed that 73 has had here today, but it's not over just yet. It's still close.
No, right now Thwaites is only running 0.07 of a second slower than Fox. So, even if you look at the last lap times, they're still close enough where one flinch of your foot on the throttle and all of a sudden Thwaites is in your grill.
Ed Morris peeking back there. This will be his first podium finish since Kansas, his win earlier on this season. Same thing for Michael Thwaites. This will be his first podium finish since Indianapolis. Keeping you up to date on some of the drivers that have left us here tonight. Eric Driggins done after 6 laps. Kerry Cleaver after 34. Josh Wren is coming back out on the track. This is his first appearance out on track since lap 36. Nate Orlovsky done after 62. Ed Morris Sr., Joshua Vidal, Joseph Darnell, Logan Koger, and Michael Caffrey, who's just come down pit road. Koger done for the night, so only 19 cars left running here in this race. And as you can see, Josh Wren is a cool 104 laps down. He did, however, get the position on Kerry Cleaver to move himself up from 26th to 25th. That's all he'll get.
Gary Wells looking to see if he can get one more spot here as the popsicle sticks are in the air. He's looking to try to challenge the 34 of Nicholas Caldwell and retain 8th position, but he still wants that 7th position away from Ted Pullen as the popsicle sticks are down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers.
We are about a half a lap to go. Alan Fox still holding that 0.5 of a second lead over Michael Thwaites. Down to the bottom he goes through turns 3 and 4. It was a pole, a stage win, fastest lap in practice, a perfect day, a near perfect day for Alan Fox. He wins here at Homestead, and for the second time in 3 playoff races, a non-playoff driver takes the checkered flag.
That's got to taste a little sour for some of these playoff drivers who have, tried to be as consistent as possible, as Benny Parsons would have told them once upon a time. But, here we are once again with a non-playoff driver taking the checkered flag. An impressive win from Alan Fox, and of course joined on the podium today by Michael Thwaites and Ed Morris.
Again, first podiums for Thwaites and Morris since their wins earlier on this season. For Fox, a win as he burns it down right in front of us here. Let's bring him in. Dave, you are with our race winner.
Hey, Alan, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, dominant win tonight. You did great overall. I mean, all but a perfect night. And as I see you burning it down here, you've got all but 2 wheels on the asphalt. How are you feeling as you get ready to celebrate?
Man, I'm feeling great. About halfway through there, I don't know if I came up or he came down, whatever happened, but next thing you know, I'm sideways in the middle of the backstretch. So that was pretty crazy to be able to overcome that and get back up to victory lane.
Yeah, and, victory lane here does not come easy, especially when you've got the wind in your face on the backstretch and then that shift coming out of 3 and 4 trying to push the rear end. How were you able to compensate for that?
It seems like I just had a good line on the bottom all night. I was able to get it to turn in the center where other people were pushing up. A couple of restarts, that's where I made up a lot of spots, and I figured something out late when I had to get back in traffic. You were just getting so tight behind the other cars, so set up passes. You had to get the run off the high side down the front stretch, and then you could get the low line in one, and then that's what was working for me.
Now, as we move deeper into this round of 8, I mean, here you are, a non-playoff driver that has to feel pretty stout there in your heart as, you're a non-playoff driver bringing home a checkered flag. Is this going to be a continued theme or maybe just back off now for the rest of the season?
Well, I've had some bad luck, but strong showings over the last few weeks. I just really am happy that Ed Morris Jr. finally pushed me into coming back. I used to race here a few years ago and took some time off after COVID, so I'm just glad to be back, be able to compete, and having fun here.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations once again. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
Everybody over here, Primetime Motorsports, Ed Sr., Mike Rominger, all those guys, Ricmotech for putting this on, and of course you guys up there in the booth.
All right, my man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
And Frank, I believe that you should have Michael Thwaites in the wings waiting for you.
I do. Our second place finisher here tonight, Michael Thwaites. Michael, first podium in quite some time, a very solid run. Unfortunately, those 6 laps older tires was your undoing today.
Yeah, my strategy was that hopefully there's going to be a caution there in the middle of that last run, but never came out. But I still got second. I'm happy with it. Highest finishing playoff driver, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and that's another one, especially with the difficulty of the track coming up next, Watkins Glen. Not the hardest road course that this series goes to, but certainly not something that's going to be in everybody's wheelhouse.
No, I will say, I mean, if I have any luck, just like at Sonoma, which we did run, right? Yeah, it was Sonoma. I was on my way for a top 5 there, and then I spun out, I think, the last 2 laps or something like that. So I feel good about. I'm better at Watkins Glen, so I feel good about that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe you are going to be the points leader going into Watkins Glen next week. How does that? How would that affect your driving come to Glen next week?
None. Still, just go after those points. Still, want to finish as high as possible. Possibly get the win.
Fair enough. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. Ricmotech, everybody with Ed and Prime Time. And Prime Time for what they do, and then everything at Extreme, and everything that you guys do at SRM.
All right, your second place finisher here tonight, Michael Thwaites, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now, Dave, that will leave you with our third place finisher. That would be Ed Morris.
Hey, Ed, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Yeah, man, I got you.
Hey, what a pleasure it is to be able to finally get a chance to chat with you, because, I mean, I called your series all last season, finally get a chance to slide in here on a substitute tip, and here you are making the podium.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a minute.
I mean, here's the thing. You managed to battle your way through this piece tonight. I mean, take us through what was going through your mind as, of course, a long green flag run here toward the end of the race, and you wind up finishing where you started. Were you trying to maybe hope for that caution to try to bunch back up, or were you just kind of pleased to be where you were at?
Well, yeah, a little of both. It was a podium is definitely, we definitely got a good points night tonight. Yeah, I was kind of secretly hoping for a caution, not too late in the race, but if we could have got a caution about halfway through that run, we were just playing the wrong strategy from the very beginning of this race. We were trying to stretch the fuel all the way to the end of that stage, and I think we could have been able to make it and win the stage, but caution came out and kind of ruined the strategy there, and then we took tires there trying to capitalize on stage points and get to the front there, and just in traffic and just trying to get through, and just had a hard time in traffic. It was tough out there with so many cars and so many lanes. It was just couldn't really, took us a while to get back through the field, and we was able to capitalize on, I think, fifth for that stage, but we had the fresh tires. It definitely should have been up there compete for the stage win, but just had a hard time in traffic. And then, stayed out there for that one pit stop and saved that set of tires, and just kept saving fuel and hoping to be able to use the set at the end, and I never got the chance. So, but hey, P3, we can't complain.
No, definitely can't complain. I mean, traffic in South Florida is kind of a thing. So to be able to do it here in a controlled environment, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But, well, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish here. Who do you need to tip your helmet to tonight?
Just appreciate everybody here at Extreme Motorsports, all the admins, everybody that helps me make this thing go around. Our sponsors, Ricmotech, you guys over at SRM for putting on the broadcast, Extreme Scoring. Everybody that puts in the effort here, all the fans, all the drivers, members of Extreme. Appreciate you guys being here.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations. We'll see you next week, and go ahead and celebrate that podium finish.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, Frank, another one in the books here in the XMS Xfinity series, and what a night it was for me to be able to slide in here as a sub.
It certainly was. It was a fantastic race. I saw 3 wide racing all race as if it were Talladega. It was such a fun night. And again, going into Watkins Glen next week, that's one of the more difficult cutoff races to have, and that's to set the championship 4 next week. Then the championship 4 being Pocono and Phoenix. Watkins Glen is going to be critically important for guys that did not do well here, such as Paul Irvin, such as Jacob Jensen. And most guys that run ovals are not road course guys, so it's going to be even more difficult for those drivers.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about that many times off air, just between ourselves, where the rest of the world runs road courses while we're running ovals. And it's definitely a discipline that we kind of put on the back burner. So it's going to be interesting to see these drivers have to suddenly, quite literally, shift gears and get into road course mode for a week before going to Pocono.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get there, let's take a look at the final results here tonight. Alan Fox takes home the race win. Michael Thwaites, the highest finishing playoff driver with Ed Morris in tow. Jacob Brower gets a good comeback race from last week. Mike Rominger rounds out the top 5. Scott Ramler, Gary Wells, Ted Pullen, Austin Karp, and Nicholas Caldwell round out the top 10. Carter Casey, Rob Haynes, Paul Irvin, Alan Dobbs, and Mike Campeggio down to 15th. Jacob Jensen, Daniel Krim, Alex Reeling, Michael Caffrey, and Logan Koger down to 20th. Joseph Darnell, Joshua Vidal, Ed Morris Sr., Nate Orlovsky, Josh Wren, Kerry Cleaver, and Eric Driggins round out the remainder of the field. So that will do it for us here tonight from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. For my broadcast partner, Dave Regal, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week when the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech closes out its round of 8 in the playoffs at Watkins Glen International. But until then, remember, folks, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.